and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, a Star Trek podcast. My name is Caitlin, and with me today are...
Me, Jake.
Good job.
Wow.
Chris.
The specialist boy. This is Ames.
And this is still Caitlin.
Great.
We're here today for episode 151.
Wow, that's like that
Bacardi.
Oh yeah, you're right. The super high proof rum that tastes like fucking rubbing alcohol. Fun fact, or maybe not, it was like the first thing I ever drank in college. I went to a party at a friend's and they just fucking handed me 151 and I was like, I'm sure this is fine. It was fine.
And you died.
No, I was actually okay.
Yeah.
I thought it tasted like shit.
It does taste like shit.
It's amazing I ever drank again. But anyway. Episode Bacardi 151. Sponsored by Bacardi.
Tastes like shit.
There's a little captain in you. No, wait.
Yikes.
Today we're going to...
That's just a statement of fact.
That's what happened after... Never mind.
Oh, that's where Jake's Kirk action figure went.
On my butthole?
Into you?
He's a pirate?
No, I've got Scotty in me.
Oh, dear. Anyway, moving swiftly onward. Today we're here to speak, I almost said, to talk about two episodes of Deep Space Nine. And the two episodes are The Nagus and Vortex. In The Nagus, Quark has a surprise visitor, Grand Nagus of the Ferengi Alliance, Zek, and his little bitch son, Krax. And he's there for a little conference, a meeting of the minds. First he eats all of Quark's samples and masturbates furiously for hours in his holodeck. And then he has a conference of all the other big-time Ferengis. And he's there to announce that Quark will be his successor, immediately. Obviously all the other Ferengis are really not into it. They're like, that fucking guy? What the fuck? And, some of them are like, well, I'm gonna kill him. And some of them are like, hey, if you pay me, I'll be your bodyguard. And
Quark's both.
Quark's, thinks he's a big swinging dick Grand Nagus, which he is. But it's getting a little difficult for him, so he's like, hey, Nagus, how about some advice? And he's like, me give you advice? Inconceivable! And dies. Which was also inconceivable. Perfect. Thank you, I tried. Chris reminded me, and so...
Oh, Wallace Shawn. I have Wallace Shawn stories for later.
Oh, I can't wait. And his little laugh.
Get fucking prepared.
It was, dude, I'm ready to get wrecked by your stories. But he was fantastic. Suffice it to say that Quark lets it go to his head a little bit and treats Rom even more like dog shit than usual. So Rom...
Who knew that was possible?
Yeah, really. So Rom and Krax are like, let's just kill him. They try to do that. They're going to push him out an airlock. But then Zek shows up and is like, wait, you little bitch! And stops them.
Nagus.
You're still alive? What the fuck? And he was like, yeah, I was meditating or something. I don't know. He had an explanation. I don't know
it was
what
a test for Krax.
Well, no, I know that. But I mean, the how did he fake his death part.
Oh, his Mr. Home.
Mayhair do.
Yeah.
Gave him a little Vulcan neck pinch?
No, taught him about a special meditation method that made him appear dead.
Sure he did. All right, cool. So he's like, Krax, I was testing you to see if you could be Nagus, and you failed! And Krax is like, whoops. So they leave, and Zek is still Nagus, and he doesn't get to retire. And Quark, instead of being angry at Rom, remarks on him not realizing he had the lobes to pull off such a maneuver and buys him a drink. And in the B-plot, Jake Sisko and Nog...
I forgot about this B-plot.
They teach Captain Sisko a little something about friendship.
Yep.
It's very sweet.
There you go. That's it. It's probably the best I've ever done with a fucking...
You also do a great Zek.
That's a good Zek voice.
Thanks. I've never done it before. It was my first shot, so I'm glad it worked.
I want to start with something...
Yes, give it to us, Ames.
That is a couple episodes behind in my research, because I've been behind lately. But I was reading up on Quark and Rom, and, basically how Armin Shimmerman and Max Rodenchick got their roles. It was that they were both auditioning for Quark. And they go meet in the lobby area or wherever it is, and they're like, we're both auditioning for Quark, aren't we? And they're like, oh yeah, how can you tell? Because we're both under 5 feet tall.
Because we're both Jewish.
Oof. I don't know about that. But, they were both, they realized, oh yeah, and they kind of hit it off and they were buddies and all this stuff. And when Armin Shimmerman got the role of Quark, he ended up suggesting that Max Grodenchik get another part, and he recommended him for Rom.
Nice.
And it's very, very sweet.
That is sweet.
And they're buddies, and I love it.
I'm kind of glad, though, because I feel like, obviously, the guy, what's his name?
Max Grodenchik?
Grodenchik. Obviously, he's playing a character, but it's hard to imagine with him playing that character what he would have been like as Quark. Again, I know he's an actor.
I don't think he would have been a good Quark.
Yeah.
Because
it just happened that he was under 5 feet tall, so they were like, well...
Yeah, well, we saw him in Rocketeer, right? And he played a kind of a similar...
Who was he in The Rocketeer? I don't remember this.
He was the mobster guy.
He was the one that got bent in half.
Yeah.
By Mr. Mahabadu.
Yeah, that's right.
Mayhardu.
What, actually?
Yeah,
the actor.
Zek's gigantic silent bodyguard.
That's the big-handed fucking weird face fucker?
Tiny Ron.
His name is Tiny
shit.
Ron.
Tiny Ron, stop! His real name is Tiny Ron?
No, it's
stage name.
Well, what I mean is
his actual credit.
His credit is Tiny Ron. That's fucking amazing.
Yes, it's a little mini Rocketeer reunion this episode.
Oh, that's so nice.
And we've seen Ron before in this show as well.
Yes,
yeah,
he was
different.
Yeah, when Keiko was starting up her classroom bullshit, and he was more. Yeah, he was just a typical Ferengi without the terrible voice acting.
Right.
That he took on.
I hate it. You know what it feels like to me is a really bad. No, it feels to me like he's doing a really bad stereotypical Asian voice. That's all I can read into it, and I hate it.
I wasn't getting that at all.
Oh, well, I'm probably wrong, but that's kind of how I feel about it.
I thought you were going to say we also saw him previously in can't remember the title.
Captain's Holiday.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, with Vash.
Are you talking
I was thinking
and also the one with
Kamala. Yeah, I forgot he was in both of those.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, he's always around when Picard gets his rocks off.
That's true. That's weird.
Gross.
This episode was great.
Was it?
I am delighted by Ferengi-ness.
I also think that Quark would be a good Grand Nagus, because once he realizes to get his brutal on, he's pretty good at it.
Yeah, but he's definitely, that's the thing. I find this episode delightful, and I find most of the Ferengi episodes of this show delightful.
Which is a big change from, the
I
TNG
know,
episodes, which were mostly fucking
fix,
stupid.
They really fixed the whole Ferengi thing in this, but, it's one of those interesting things about Quark, in that, and we'll talk about this later, is that he's, does some really fucked up evil shit. He's not a good guy.
Nope.
But, he, somewhere in him is, this morality that he draws upon from time to time.
Mm.
Wait, Quark's really bad?
He's just naughty. He's a naughty boy.
Well, we're going to be talking later today about Vortex, right? And he does some pretty nefarious shit in that.
Yeah.
Which one?
Vortex was the one we're talking about after this.
Oh, yeah, but that's
he's a criminal. He is a criminal.
I just mean...
He takes advantage of a lot of the opportunities that he has.
And he writes in... I can sexually assault my Dabo girls into his fucking contract.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Cool. That's the one thing that isn't quite right about the character. The character can be conniving and scheming and get away with murder sometimes,
but preferably not a rapist.
Yeah, it just seems so outside his character because there's no profit in it.
Well, if they never mention it again, I'm going to assume it's not real.
The thing is, some of the stuff that they I noticed even. He wasn't in this episode much, if at all. I don't remember, but Julian's character is even improving week over week. So I think
would have been fucking hard to get worse.
Yeah. Jesus. So I think the writers are starting to find a groove with a lot of the characters. They haven't quite figured out yet.
People in the early 90s don't think rapists are cool.
Yeah.
I love though how Quark goes full Godfather at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Where he's got he suddenly has blinds in his
and a Gilvo.
Yeah.
It was the same Gilvo from Newground. It was very cute.
What is a Gilvo?
Remember those creatures that Alexander wanted to save when they were on
fire?
Oh
my god, yeah.
That was those things.
AKA the only good thing Alexander ever fucking did in that show.
But yeah, he's
in the entire show.
He's got a pet, he's got the blinds where it's you're in space, you don't need blinds. It's amazing.
Yeah, but he saw it in a movie, so he's gonna do it.
Listen, he knows what he has to do
he
when
knows
he's got
how
an
to be
offer
a
you can't
boss.
refuse.
So, one thing that wasn't clear to me is that, the Grand Nagus,
Zek.
What is that position? What is the is it a political position? Is it a business title?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
is he like the
both? I think the two would
Yeah,
go
I was
hand in
gonna say, I'm pretty
hand.
sure
is he like
yes.
the president of the Chamber of Commerce? Like what?
I feel like the president of the Chamber of Commerce would also be the chief executive on Ferenginar.
Yeah, but is that what the Grand Nagus is? And is that actually stated in the show, what the Grand Nagus is?
Not in this episode, anyway.
Yeah.
I don't remember if they ever get into
I
more
think
detail.
in the future it is more clearly established that the Grand Nagus is the
Leader of
the
all
leader,
Ferenginar?
the leader of the Ferengi Alliance.
Oh, wow.
But
That's interesting.
Right, but in this show, it's just more kind of like, oh no, he's just some big important businessman.
That's
kind
kinda
of
what
like
I-
a mob boss.
It it seems to me almost like...
I think that's the thing, though. I feel like, the head of the Ferengi would be a mob boss.
Yeah. No, the great thing too is that Wallace Shawn is very good in this role.
Oh my god, he's wonderful.
And he comes and we get a lot more Nagus stuff in the future, and it just gets
with Wallace Shawn. Or
oh yeah, he comes back.
Yay, that's wonderful.
Yeah, he does a great job, and
I really enjoyed him.
Yeah,
I do now. Did they? Because I said it sort of as a joke because I didn't think of it at the time. But do you know, Ames? Were they ever considering having his little servant guy just be another member of Mr. Holmes' species at any point?
Oh, I didn't ever see.
Because they're very similar. It's like a huge guy that
Doesn't
does
talk.
not speak
And serves.
and is a servant. I kind of wonder if there's. I like to imagine that somewhere in the Star Trek universe, there's an annual giant silent manservants conference.
where they just pound away all the liquor.
Yes.
I was gonna say, but they don't talk, right?
Oh, yeah,
Presumably.
they they have big, someone sneaks in. It's like, so what happens during the conference things? The guy just stands up there and doesn't say a fucking word for 45 minutes, and then they clap.
Maybe
They do a lot of
they're,
limboing though.
Maybe they're all psychic.
Yeah,
Maybe they talk. Maybe they talk lots, and we just can't hear it.
maybe.
There's it's just the scene where Quark is having setting up for the big meeting, and he's got the bar all closed down, and poor Morn.
Oh, yeah.
Come in.
Shows.
And he's
Get the fuck out!
he shuts the door. His face.
It was like
go,
it was like a Harry and the Hendersons moment. It
Kind
made
of,
me very
yeah.
sad.
Do you know what it made me think of, actually?
What's that?
There's an episode of Bob's Burgers where they close for lunch, and Teddy's like, "Where am I supposed to go, Bobby?"
Yeah.
That's what it made me
They're having
think
a private event. Yeah.
Yeah, it made me think of that.
Oh my
In
god.
a big
Teddy
way.
is kind of more.
He is. He's always there. Nowhere else to go.
Except Teddy doesn't shut up.
That's true. But yeah, I felt really sad for Morn. I was like, where's he supposed to go, you prick?
Morn gets his.
Oh, dear.
Because in the next episode, he apparently spilled some beans to Odo, remember? So I have a
we'll
note.
get to that in the next
No, I know,
episode.
but I just I have a note in there. It's should have been nice, should have more in that episode.
And Odo. Every episode.
Well.
Probably. Well, that's just me. I like Odo a lot.
Yeah, Odo.
He grew on me considering what a fucking weird fucker he is.
Who, Odo?
To look at, yeah.
Oh.
I also think they've improved him
Yeah,
somehow.
they fixed the makeup a little.
They fixed.
smoothed
He's
But
smoother
it
now.
feels
out.
like it was subtle that when it happened. Because it's I can't tell you at what point I no longer was like, ugh.
When he smiles, it's still very bizarre.
He rarely
I was
smiles.
going to say that's when he doesn't.
I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like,
It's kind of supposed to be almost.
yeah, it's like when Phlox smiles,
No,
It's weird.
I'm not ready for that.
Well, no, his
He
normal.
rarely laughed, but
He actually smiles a lot. It's just when he does the big smile.
Yeah.
I'm really not looking forward to that.
Lots of smiles, huh?
Speaking of, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around this episode because it's so fucking silly, and the Ferengi are also cartoonish.
Oh, it's super
it's not
silly.
really for me.
Yeah.
So this isn't really I love literally every single thing that Quark does, minus the sexual assault.
Yeah.
But that was
he's
one
always amazing.
time. We don't know if it really happened.
Yeah, I do.
Yikes.
I do love that. When the Nagus announces that Quark's saying, all the other Ferengi get pissed off and storm out of the room
And Quark just looks like he jizzed in his pants.
because he's
Just jizzed in his pants.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have to say, he's one of the best dressed characters on this show.
Quark?
Quark has amazing outfits.
Oh, yeah.
He looks fucking great.
I mean, the Ferengi in general seem to dress
there
well.
were a couple at that table that I kept mistaking for Quark. I was like, no, he's off on the other side of the room,
Yeah.
not at the table.
You know what it is with them? It's to quote Liar Liar, whatever takes the focus off your head. Like my new dress!
Well, it's funny too because I feel like he probably has more costumes than anyone on the show. Because I think even Rom, I feel like we mostly just see in that gray and green getup.
Yeah, I feel like the costume designers on this show had a real fun time. Like just probably like going to buy really gaudy blinds.
They just went to Garrick's.
Yeah,
like Garrick probably has the second most, and even he, I think, eventually settles into a pattern.
Yeah, but we also don't see a ton of Garrick's.
Yeah, no, we obviously see far more of Quark.
So there was a B plot.
Yeah.
I'm not done talking about the Ferengi, but okay.
Go ahead. Talk some more about the Ferengi.
Okay, here's my question before we get to the B plot.
Yes.
Sure.
So this is all a test to text Grax,
Mhm.
whether he's ready for whether he's Nagus material yet, or whether Wallace Shawn's character should keep being the Nagus.
Mhm.
And they say he failed the test.
Yeah.
Why? Because all that seemed like Nagus behavior.
Well, no, he said it. He said it right out because he drew too much attention. He didn't he didn't scheme properly. He was going with too, broad, clumsy strokes.
So it was good that there was scheming, but it was the wrong kind of scheming.
Yeah, he drew too much
we
attention.
Always said he got Rom involved, and Rom's an idiot.
Yes.
No shit. Rom should be the auto fail. You were working with that fucking idiot? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the way he put it was, you should have just kind of sat at the bar, gathered information, let Quark lay the groundwork, because, basically information is power. You should have been gathering information, and then you could have just kind of crept in and be like, hey, guess who's actually been quietly accruing power for all this time?
Yeah, he should have been, royal viziering that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do like, though, how Quark is saved from getting his head blown off because he spots a quarter on the floor and he's like, ooh, I'll just cover that up.
That was great because it falls, it rolls, and he does this look around like, anyone else hear it? And it's that thing, it's like to steal or paraphrase Eddie Izzard, it's like when the new line opens at a supermarket and you're like, all right, start moving, but not so obviously that everyone else notices.
What did you just sent me something the other day that was like that, didn't you?
I don't remember, to be honest.
So the Quark picking up the coin is almost hit for hit a thing that actually happened to my dad.
Your dad almost got
except for the bombing of his head.
Are you gonna do your dad's an impression of your dad's?
I don't even know if there was voicing.
No, you need to make something.
So okay, fine. So I was pretty young, and we're in the mall. Mm-hmm. And, my dad's standing around and he looks down and he sees, and he didn't actually say this out loud, but for your benefit, I'll do the voice of what he thought. He goes, is that a $100 bill? Someone left a $100 bill on the ground. So he does the thing that Quark does, and he kind of inches over to it and foot down over the $100 bill, looks around, makes sure no one's noticing. All right, just gonna... Drake, I'm gonna pick up this $100 bill. He leans down and pretends to tie his shoe or whatever and picks up the $100 bill.
And then Rom tries to kill him.
And then he picks it up and he's like, all right, and he unfolds it. And it's
one of those fake goddamn things.
No!
Was it about Jesus?
I think it might have been about Jesus.
You know what doesn't convert people to fucking Jesus? Making them think that you left them money or they found something that was money and then having it not be money.
Yeah.
You're like, if Jesus was real, this would be a real $100 bill.
Well, you gotta figure, it's even worse too, because we're talking you were a kid. That was $100 in 90s money.
Yeah, this is good money.
It's not nothing to sneeze at today, but it was even more.
If they were going to be more believable, it would be like a $1 bill.
Maybe a 20.
Yeah, I found a 20 on the ground before. A real one.
Nice.
It's nice.
That's not
bad.
It wasn't like a chick track or anything?
No chick track.
God, chick tracks.
God, they're awful.
They are.
I don't want to be Silver Moon anymore. I want to be Donna or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So stupid.
It is.
There was a moment when they're trying to figure out who did the murdering or who did the attempted murdering. And I'm like, oh man, this is how the stories will dovetail. Because it's been Jake and Nog all along. This is where Jake's been hanging out.
God damn it, Jake.
There's your segue, Jake.
All right.
Jake us away.
What do we think? I don't have much to say.
You're the one that wanted to bring up the
No, I was just trying to keep the conversation moving.
Jake, what the fuck's wrong with you?
Once we moved on to the costumes, I'm like, okay, this one's running out of steam.
The way I put it,
ouch.
I was like, oh wow. Jake is better at being Starfleet than anyone in Starfleet.
I'm glad.
Because he's like...
Not a racist.
Yeah, it's like, let's just look past our prejudices. Let's just, build bridges. And...
Let's teach these idiots how to read.
That's what's interesting about Jake, or really about Starfleet in general, is that, everyone in Starfleet's like, we are We have high moral character and yada yada yada, except those fucking filthy Ferengi.
It's like, I mean, it's probably not intentional, but it is a fascinating commentary.
They're all and like this goes back to fucking TNG. They were very look downing upon Ferengi.
Look downing upon. I like that. It's a nice turn of phrase.
Yeah, it's just it's like
it was good.
And that's throughout history. You look at people, it's like, we've finally gotten over this old prejudice because together we've found a new prejudice.
That sounds about right.
And again, I don't think it's what they meant to do, but
well, yeah,
that's what they landed on.
It's like it's the fist clasping,
the
Predator meme.
Yeah,
but it's like it's like humans, Klingons, and they're clasping over
hating the
Ferengi.
Oh God, poor O'Brien and the B plot.
Yeah, why? Why is this Miles' job?
Presumably...
He's the engineer of this whole fucking station, and the only one!
Yeah, and it's like...
And also the fucking station is always falling apart. I mean, we've heard that.
Yeah, it's like, alright, the whole place is falling apart, but the school marm isn't here. Hey, you live with her, surely you know how to teach. And he's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Jesus.
Yeah, he's the worst substitute teacher.
Well, you know what it was? They were probably like, oh, we'll give you 30 space bucks if you do it.
See, I would have.
He was like, "Oh boy," and then they were like, "We actually had 75." The fucking idiot took it.
I would have much rather, though, have seen like the abuse that the students were putting on him.
Oh,
definitely.
Like
I don't know about you guys, but
I know
when I was
how
in
much
school,
we love watching Miles get tortured.
Oh yeah,
but
when I was in school, the substitute teachers took a beating.
I don't know, dude. The subs were always great because they didn't give a shit if you did the work.
Oh man, but there was always a prank.
In my school,
we didn't do any pranks.
In my school, one got hogtied.
What?
It was a bad time.
Actually?
That's what I wasn't in the class, but I heard all the rumors afterwards that I forget which teacher it was. It was one of the ones that I thought was nice. It's like, yeah, they like tied him up and like just allowed chaos to rule.
How would I can't even conceive of thinking it would be acceptable if I were to tie up this adult. And I also can't imagine how the fuck they managed it. I mean, I guess you just have to just gang up on him, I guess.
Well, the adult was probably like, I can't legally hit these little fuckers. I just have to take it.
The substitutes, and nothing like that bad ever happened.
Yeah, no, that's...
It was definitely like, the standard thing was like, tell the substitute that, the teacher
doesn't give homework.
Shit like that. But there's also like times there were substitutes that we had that like just didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And what I can remember was a sub exactly one time because he came in and he dragged in the TV and said,
we're watching porn.
And we all were like, ooh, because sometimes substitute the teacher just leaves a movie or something, to like just, can't get much classwork done.
Yeah, I didn't get the syllabus for the day. We were just going to do something to kill time.
Turns on NCAA just because it was March Madness. And he just wanted to watch basketball.
Nice.
So needless to say, the teacher got back and was none too pleased, and we never saw that sub again.
I remember once wires got crossed at my old school, and there was supposed to be a sub that just didn't materialize.
Oh my God.
So this class, like this Latin teacher who everyone hated was nowhere to be seen, and a sub never showed up. So they made a pyramid out of the desks.
Nice.
Oh no! Was there a class after that class?
They were very confused.
The way it worked at my school was that
the kids moved, the teachers didn't.
Yeah, like it was just his classroom. Of course, at the time we were like, "That's great." In retrospect, it's like, "Oh fuck, some janitor had to fix that, not the teacher that everyone hated." But that's not what you think when you're 14,
No,
you think
sure don't.
Mr. Dipshit's gonna have to deal with this.
Fuck, good old Mr. Dipshit.
He sure showed Mr. Dipshit.
Well,
dipshit.
You know what though? Actually, the janitor was probably like, "Yeah, I fucking hate that guy," and just left him that way. He can fucking deal with this tomorrow.
So we're starting to run out of time in this episode. Ames, you said there were stories.
Oh my goodness. So here's the thing. I don't know if I can look at Wallace Shawn the same way you people can look at Wallace Shawn.
Oh no.
Are you about to ruin Wallace Shawn?
I mean...
Inconceivable!
No, it's incredibly conceivable, because I've read one of his plays.
No.
Oh, I forgot he's a playwright.
Yeah, he's written a bunch of plays.
I've read one... And let's be real, you've read some doozies.
Oh, yeah. This one, like... And I try to only read plays that I think are going to be any good for you, like by reading the synopsis. And this one, the synopsis was like, it's a futuristic world where the main character, Ben, is a scientist who
is a rat.
Who discovers a way to find a new food source for the people because the food is dwindling down and the population keeps going up. So no,
Ew.
it was the animals would eat each other so that there'd be more animals or some. It was really weird and unusual, but that's not even the point of the whole play.
It does sound up your alley though by your description
so far. So all of that's like, oh man, yeah, this sounds interesting. I should read this. And I found it in the library. The play is called Grasses of 1,000 Colors, and if you're into the weirdest kink in the world, read this script.
Which would that be?
All of them.
There's like.
Let me explain this play. So it starts off and it's a monologue with the characters barely interact. It's mostly told in monologues with Wallace Shawn's character, which he wrote for himself and acted as himself.
Great.
And he was already like 70 years old when this went on.
Oh, so this was recent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
He's only 74 now.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was
75?
recent. I don't know how recent. It wasn't the last 10 years at the very least.
Okay. I was looking him up the other day.
Yeah, and the other three characters in the show are his various wives and mistresses.
Of course, yeah. Okay, sure.
There is a whole scene dedicated to his best friend, his penis. There's just a very, very long scene in which he just talks about how his best friend is his penis.
It's a long scene, huh?
He likes to take it on a vacation, just the two of them, so that they can hang out together and not worry about any other people.
Yeah, this is really uncomfortable.
His first mistress and they go into a lot of. He goes into a lot. It's not a show that has any stage directions. It's just talking and talking and talking and talking, and so it's just him talking about a lot of sexual deeds with the various wives and mistresses, and also an anecdote where in the middle of the night, he wakes up. I'm boring Jake to tears. I'm sorry, Jake.
No, I think he's probably just trying to defend himself from the mental images.
I was going to say, this is classic body language where he's just trying to block the bad thing.
Well, I think I've told Jake some of this.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about this play already.
Yeah, so in the middle of the night, he wakes up and he can't sleep. And his mistress is sleeping next to him. And he decides, I'm gonna go out. And he feels compelled to go out into this park. And he finds a horse. So he hops on the horse and starts riding. He gets to a castle. He goes in the castle. And the castle's full of cats. And he sits down at the table, and the cats are serving platters of mice. And they're eating all the mice. And he's like, oh man, I guess I'll have some mice with these cats, because it seems the normal thing to do, and they're all kind of pressuring me to eat mice. So he eats some mice. And there's a beautiful white cat with a stripy face sitting next to him.
No.
And the beautiful white cat with the stripy face next to him starts giving him a hand job.
No!
And then they go back to their room
I knew
together.
this was coming! No! Absolutely
he's
fucking
coming.
not! No!
Yeah, so he goes back to their room together, and they have weird cat sex, which is very upsetting, and I don't...
Here's the thing. All this tells me is that...
Oh, there's more. Wait for it.
Based on so far, Wallace Shawn just is Grand Nagus Zek.
I wrote that note.
There is
oh my god, that's what the holodeck program
There
was.
is a non-zero chance he has fucked a Cation in his lifetime.
Oh.
So now it's not a
You're
cat.
saying they exist.
Huh?
You're saying Cations exist.
Well,
in
Zek has. Not Wallace Shawn has.
Zek has fucked a Cation. This is just a play about Grand Nagus Zek.
And
I kind of is.
And I would never let Wallace Shawn watch my cats.
So the monologue ends that, he keeps doing this every so often for years. And
having sex with white cat?
Going out and having sex with that white cat.
What the fuck? Stop fucking the cat.
And he thinks, man, my mistress, I forget the mistress's name, I want to say Corrine, but it's something like that. Man, she has no idea any of this is happening. And then we switch over to her point of view, and she's like, yeah, I totally knew what was happening. So, one night I followed him, and I dressed as a man, and I rode a horse and followed him the whole way there. And I played poker with some dogs, and it got weird because they kept pissing on the floor.
And then I had sex with one of the dogs.
No, but then she goes up and she finds the white cat, and she just knows by instinct this fucking homewrecker cat.
What?
And she slices the cat's head off.
What the fuck?
Takes the body in a bag and brings it home with her.
Hasn't this cat been through enough?
No, because the head grows back.
No!
But the cat is now no longer the sexy, beautiful cat that Wallace Shawn's character loved. It's now a homely, upsetting cat that he doesn't like anymore. Her name is Blanche. And the cat just watches him masturbate at home. And the play goes on like this. And it starts to spiral into, like, the weirdness of the world because people are dying because of this food thing. And a lot of this seems to be like,
I forgot about that completely.
Yes, the food thing seems to be the root of all of this problem. We probably should not have done any of this. And I think his character dies in the show.
Good.
But he's still, like, there telling the story, which is very unusual, which I don't understand. But yeah, what the fuck? Wallace fucking Shawn!
Yeah, Wallace, I remember how I asked you to watch the cats. I'm gonna have to... You know what? I'm gonna stay home. So, you just stay away from my cats.
Mm-hmm.
You fucking weirdo. That's fucking bizarre.
Yep.
What the fuck? Why did that happen?
That is amazing. I am
sorry.
genuinely, like...
Aroused?
No, amazed. Like, because you think it's Wallace Shawn, you know? Like, you think of him as, you know, the funny little guy from The Princess Bride, and the funny little guy from this. He's
Rex the dinosaur.
Yeah, he's the funny little guy.
What's Rex the dinosaur?
In Toy Story.
Oh, holy shit, of course that's him, yeah.
And, like, to know that he's got this bizarre side just endears him to me.
Yeah.
Still wouldn't let him near my fucking cats, but...
I just...
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. And I even read some reviews, and a lot of the reviews are like, it's really, really weird, but we like Wallace Shawn, so we're gonna say good things about it, but it's really, really weird.
I mean, is it just meant to be some kind of weird commentary on, like, the weird shit we do for pussy? Like, was he just being, like, really not clever?
I have no idea.
Sorry, I know it's not your favorite word, Ames. I apologize.
Clever?
No. The other one. I thought you didn't like the
I don't mind the word.
Oh, I thought you didn't like it.
I just don't use it much.
Oh, is it the T one you don't like?
T1? Twat? I love twat.
Oh, well.
I'm saying, yeah, she did not just say twat like somebody that doesn't like that word.
No, I love cunt.
No,
Cunt is the best word.
Oh, yeah, cunt is the best word. Okay, well,
Well, with that story out of the way...
Yeah. My final note. I love that Dax is a bad parent.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
She says, man, I've been a mother and a father, you know, I've parented a whole bunch of kids, and I suck, but if you want my advice, I'll give you advice.
And then she just stays in his apartment and eats his stew.
And it was like
aubergine.
Aubergine stew, yeah, which is weird.
Why is that weird?
I don't know. It looked like meatier than I expected, considering it was supposed to be eggplant. I assume that's what aubergine is, isn't it?
Yep.
Interesting. Speaking of interesting, I guess, the next episode that we watched was Vortex. This one first of all, I'm definitely not going to do it as succinctly as the first one, and second of all, may need some help.
It's a little convoluted.
It is a little bit. All right, wait, who's who?
Croden is the main guy.
Okay, so, okay. All right, so this dude, Croden, is on... There's a bunch of people on DS9 that they're not usually there. This dude, Croden, who's some kind of alien thing from the Gamma Quadrant. And there's also some two dudes, Achel and Rachel, who are twins from Miradorn. Yeah?
Yeah,
is that what that says?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, and they're played by one actor.
Yeah,
that's nice. Cool. Thank you, Ames, for that helpful thing there. But they're like doing a deal with Quark, and the idea, I guess, is that they stole this shit and they want to sell it to Quark.
Well, Quark has a buyer, so Quark's like a middleman.
But doesn't he also then not have a buyer because he's like,
the buyer,
I heard you stole it, so they backed out,
the
right?
buyer isn't interested in like marked goods.
I think he was just trying to
he's lying, of course, but that's
a discount anyway.
Right, but this is the story, right? The story is my buyer backed out, and they were like, "You didn't say anything about needing a bill of sale, bitch." And then this dude, Croden, is like, "Give me that Fabergé egg, fuckers." And turns out
I have a gun that I might use.
I have this gun thing, and ultimately he winds up killing one of the twins. I don't know which one, Rachel?
I forget which one.
Yeah, whatever. One of them dies.
Same guy.
The other one is left to be really upset and mournful of his twin. You don't understand. We're like two halves of the same being. And Sisko's like, yeah, I know. Every twin I've ever talked to has been like, oh, you don't understand how it is with twins. And this guy's like, no, like, really, though. Physiologically. And,
he had the asshole.
Oh, no.
Yikes.
This is a teleporter in his stomach.
Inhuman centipede. All right. They put Croden in jail because he'd done a murder while trying to do a thief, which I think makes it... That's an aggravator.
Yeah,
so,
it's definitely...
that's capital murder.
It's definitely capital murder.
Capital murder. So, yay. And
But he has a special key.
Yeah, so he's got a thingamajig.
To Odo's
and he's
heart.
like, oh, Odo, you're a changeling, eh? You know, I've known some changelings. I know where they live, eh? And Odo's like, fuck, you don't know anything about changelings. Whatever. Odo voice. Not as good as my Nagus voice, but I tried. And Croden's like, no, let me show you. And he whips out this, like, cheap fucking gumball machine dispenser knick-knack locket thing. And when he opens it, the stuff inside of it goes all Odo-like and makes a shape. And he's like, see, I got this from them. I'll show you where they are. And Odo's like, I don't know about that. But then, so they reach out to Croden's homeworld because they're going to put him on trial. And they're like, hey, guys, this guy, he killed somebody. And they're like, well, you need to bring him back because we fucking want to kill him too. And then, of course, the twin dude is like, but I would also like to kill him. And they're like, tough titty, you're going to have to let the law take its fucking course,
line.
okay? So they decide that they will deliver Croden back to his people. And they're like, Odo, why don't you take him for a spin in the roundabout, or whatever the fuck they're called. Is they called roundabout? What are they called?
Runabout.
Thank you, runabout. I knew it wasn't roundabout, but I couldn't think of what they were called. So Odo's like, yeah, I'll do that. And so they do. And this guy is like, I can still show you where it is. I know exactly where we're going. And Odo's like, okay. And they go. Is this where they go and pass through the vortex?
Well, no, they go into the vortex because they're
being
attacked
chased by the twin. But that's afterwards, isn't it?
No, it's during.
Oh,
yeah, they
go
to the vortex to escape.
Yeah, that was the impetus, because Odo wasn't going
to right, but then they blow him up in the vortex, right?
Yeah, but that's only later.
Spoiler. So anyway, they land on the asteroid, and Croden, like, fucking books it away, and Odo then finds out that he has been made a fool. And he's like, you son of a bitch, was any of it true? And Croden's like, nah, I lied.
He can be any shape he wants, mostly
But
a fool.
I got a girl in a box.
Yeah, my daughter is here. Here's my daughter, isn't she great? And Odo's like, oh, family, I'm alone, it sucks. Croden's like, take my daughter, take care of her, etc. And Odo's like, okay. So they leave, and fucking Twin Boy is there again. And they're like, all right, we're gonna fuck him once and for all. So they blow him up in the vortex with, like, I don't even know what. They, ignite some shit.
Yeah, it's
they
the
dump some plasma
ignite
thing.
The plasma,
yeah.
Blow him up maneuver.
And they kill him. And when they come out of the vortex, there's Deus Ex
Vulcan.
Will that actually be Vulcan Ex Machina?
Yes.
Okay, there's some Vulcan Ex Machina who are like, hey, we heard an explosion in there. Everything okay? And Odo's like, yeah, but could you take these 2 passengers, though, and take them to Vulcan? And they were like, sure! And then he offloads them. And they're like, oh, thanks, Changeling, I hope you find your people.
Here's a key!
And they leave. The end. Right?
Yeah,
sort of.
Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, the unspoken ending is that certainly the Vulcan lady does the logical thing and returns into his homeworld to be murdered.
Yeah.
She said she'd give him passage to Vulcan. I have no reason. They don't lie, Ames.
Yeah, but then once he gets on the ship and she's like, wait a minute, why do you need to go to Vulcan? He's like, oh, because I'm outrunning my planet that wants me dead.
Surely he wouldn't actually say that, though.
He basically said it to Odo.
Yeah, but he lies a lot to kind of everybody.
He's a big crook. Yeah, so a couple things here. For one, Quark, kind of a bastard. Definitely an accessory to murder. In fact, he's...
Did they intend to murder them, though?
I mean, sure, but if you kill somebody in the course of a robbery, that's still murder.
I was going to say, he didn't intend it, but he did arm him.
Is it murder when they're pirates?
I think it's still murder. I think Odo would see it as murder.
Odo sees most things as
he
murder.
would.
That's true.
Odo sees, loitering as murder.
But I like, so it turns out when they were giving out jobs to changelings, Odo got a good one. So you get to be a cop, you get to be a key. And you have to live in a locket.
The thing that I fucking loved about that is when Julian is like, oh, well, technically this could be one of your distant cousins. And then fucking at the end, Odo's like, all right, cuz, someday we'll find the family reunion. Whatever. And it's like, dude, really? I don't feel like... I feel like if I was Odo, I'd be offended by someone saying that a rock could be my...
If I was Odo, I probably would have tried putting that in my butthole.
But
you say that like...
What could it be the key to? Let's find out.
Odo Odo is slowly morphing into Rodney Dangerfield.
No respect.
Don't make me laugh, dude. I have a wicked cold.
No.
Trying to keep it together so Chris doesn't have to listen to me hacking my brains out in this recording.
I don't know. It's kind of an episode, I guess.
Yeah, it sure was.
There.
Well, it's like Ames said, it's convoluted. It's convoluted as hell. It's like, it just felt like there was like just ever so slightly too much. And this fucking Croden dude, I don't know.
Yeah,
he has like some kind of Okono syndrome somehow.
Yeah, he's specifically supposed to be like this very, very untrustworthy guy. But when we first see him and he comes into like Quark's deal with a gun and he's acting all like nervous and weird. Yeah. And then later he's like smooth talking the fuck out of Odo.
He just seemed very pathetic.
Which one is the act?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Both of them, more than likely.
He actually reminded me a lot of Barkley.
What was the crime he supposedly did on his homeworld?
They never said. They just said he was an enemy of the people.
So, like, probably some kind of treason-y thing.
Which, admittedly,
like,
in Star Trek...
If their people suck.
Yeah, that means there's some kind of
oppressive... One of my notes is, like, I'd love to be an enemy. They seem like assholes. And that's the thing. Whenever a Star Trek person is like, this man is an enemy of the people, it's like, oh, you're from a bad government. Okay.
You're one of those.
Like, that's what always happened. No one is ever an enemy of the people in Star Trek. And, you know, if it's against... like, if they've actually committed crimes, they are not referred to as an enemy of the people.
Yeah, I feel like you just call them a murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Odo just releasing... Like, Odo's got some morally questionable judgments in this episode, right? You know, like, for someone who's supposedly all about law and order, you know...
Dum-dum.
Nice.
That was great. Thank you.
He contributes to killing, the entire crew of the brothership, even though, they were chasing them down.
They were trying to kill them self-defense.
Sure.
Also, they're pirates.
But,
here's the thing. When another criminal kills a pirate, it's murder. When a policeman kills a pirate, it's justice.
But, then he lets this actual criminal go for no reason, really, other than he had a nice necklace.
Yeah, really, he gave him hope of something he never really expressed any interest in before.
And he was manipulating Odo the whole time.
He has a nice necklace and a daughter.
Yeah, clearly he got him
and
right.
Odo likes kids, that we come to learn. He's like, oh yeah, kids, I enjoy that they exist.
Like, they tried to make...
It's the one thing about him that's not perfect.
Yeah,
likable, but I did not find him terribly likable.
Odo?
No,
Croden.
Croden, I feel like even the thing with the daughter feels like... I
feel like it's not really his daughter. I feel like it's his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Or even just I was waiting. Like, I just don't. The turn at the end just felt a little. It was too saccharine.
Yeah, did Odo do any verification to see if this wasn't a human trafficking type of?
No.
But yeah,
do a DNA test. Yikes.
Even if it had just been like.
You are not the father. You're under arrest.
Even if it was just something that proved...
Star Trek Maury Povich?
Proved his innocence without it being a daughter. Like, it was just all too tidy.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I don't know what it could have been, but that was just like, really? We're doing this?
But not that, huh?
Like, it felt completely out of...
Left field?
Sync, I guess. Out of left field for the rest of the episode. Like... Even if it was just like a little cell of rebels who were explaining like, yes, our government is horrible and corrupt and this man had done nothing until they slaughtered his family. Like, just suddenly, nope, here's a kid for reasons. It felt like they couldn't figure out a good enough device to let Odo let him go, so they just went with the obvious lazy thing.
Yeah.
Fun fact, I looked up
he also saved Odo. So
That's true.
There was that. He did show... sympathy when Odo was knocked out.
Yeah.
And I don't know why when Odo was knocked out he didn't revert to his goo phase.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Which he wouldn't be able to pick up. It would just slip right through his fingers.
Also, why would Odo get knocked out? It's not like he has a brain. Like what? Did he get a concussion?
Well, specifically...
The physics of Odo do not work.
Yeah.
When he's in human form, does he just have human organs?
Eek. I know that I read that they have the best MacGuffin that I've ever read for why Odo can be a glass.
Oh.
Because, when he's a glass, Rom brings him in, and it's like, oh, well, there were 4 glasses for 3 people, you idiot. Fucking Rom. But,
Rom can't fucking count. Nog can't read.
I was saying, my note was, see, if your dumbass had gone to school, you'd have known something was wrong.
Yeah, so he brings the glasses in and doesn't notice that it's different, which means the weight is the same as a normal glass.
I was asking about what Odo weighed. Remember, I just asked you this.
Later in the episode, Croden picks up Odo and says, oh, you're heavier than you look. And the way that writers have talked this away is that, quote, Odo's changing mass is him shunting a portion of himself into subspace. End quote.
Okay.
Because Odo exists in more dimensions than you know.
It's just mad. It's just fucking alien magic.
Yeah, he's just fucking mad.
You know what? That is way less stupid than some shit I have seen people use.
Like what?
So, I remember when I read this, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? X-Men, right?
Okay.
You know Cyclops?
Cyclops?
You know how it's like he shoots crazy shit from his eyes?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't.
Go on.
His eyes are a doorway to a dimension that is nothing but that red hell energy.
Stop,
But
wait,
lasers,
don't.
I like that.
Why?
Because it's
Occam's razor.
interesting. It's different. It's very different.
Occam's razor. He somehow shoots lasers from his eyes versus there is a dimension that is nothing but lasers. And this man's eyes are a doorway to that laser dimension.
Well, I know you're an actor, so you've probably heard this before. The eyes are the gateway to the laser dimension.
Yeah, I've heard that.
I mean, I'll admit, the laser dimension sounds like the most 80s kids show ever.
So
I was going to
party.
say it sounded
It's
like an
always
80s
a party.
club, but yes, an 80s show would
So
work
yeah,
too.
like the idea of Odo being able to shunt parts of himself to subspace and his being existing in multiple planes simultaneously, you know what? Why not?
Mm-hmm.
Makes more sense than a dimension made of lasers.
Here's another Odo question in terms of, what are the physics of Odo? They're trying to figure out how to get Croden out of there without the Miradorn guys seeing him and saying, haha, murder! And then stabbing the fuck out of him. Can Odo turn himself into a skin that goes over somebody else that could hide the person?
Ugh, that would be so gross. I mean, yes, I suppose yes, but ugh, I wouldn't. I'd be like, I thought these things smelled bad on the outside.
I can imagine Odo going, okay, I'm going to help you escape. Okay, what's the plan? I need you inside me. Whatever you say, boss.
I mean, really, the answer was he should have arrested all the other Miradorn people because they were conspiring to murder.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just lock them up?
And there's plenty of evidence that they were, thieves and they stole the Fabergé egg. Like, there was definitely pretense to lock them up.
No, my other option when they go into Quark's and they're like, where is he? Where is he? And they're roughing Quark up, which I'm into. It was Quark should have locked them in one of his holodecks and made it into like some kind of a maze program that they could never get out of.
He should have had them play the game from Move Along Home.
He should have had them do what they did in Jason X.
Yeah, there you go.
What happened in Jason X?
Jason X is a horrible, horrible horror movie.
Well, yeah,
it's
a Friday the 13th
It takes
movie,
place
right?
in the future because they've cryo-frozen Jason to get him out of everyone's hair, but then he's woken up.
Why would you freeze him and not just kill him?
Because he
Because
doesn't
he can't
die.
be killed.
He can't be killed?
He's got regenerative. He's Wolverine, but evil.
Listen, I don't know. First of all, I've never seen the original, but I always...
This is the only of the Jason series that I've seen.
I don't know why they couldn't just put dynamite in his brain.
But
or
it
something.
wasn't even him in the first one. It was his mom.
Yeah, that's true. But she corrupted him.
It made him unkillable.
But I thought he
anyway.
was dead. I thought he was dead, and that's why she was doing it.
No, he's undead.
Yikes! So in this movie, he's in the future on a spaceship.
Sounds like it.
And they put him in a holodeck, or the movie's equivalent of a holodeck, and they play a program that's basically one of the earlier Jason movies, and he gets to kill a bunch of campers to keep him busy while the rest of them try to escape, and it's brilliant.
Huh.
Yeah,
and they should have done that with the Miradorn guy,
or put him in one of those whatever they put Moriarty in that time.
The little
pocket dimension.
Yeah.
I guess that's what they should do with Jason, maybe not with these.
I'll say this of Jason X. it's a terrible, terrible movie, but at least it's self-aware that it knows it's a terrible, terrible movie, and it has fun with it. Which
Here's the thing, I thought you were going to say it's a terrible, terrible movie, but at least it's awful. Like, that's sort of what it sounded like you were going to say.
What does that even mean?
Of terrible movies,
Yes.
I thought I recognized Croden. I did not.
Oh.
But
Who
in
did you
looking
think
him
he
up,
was?
I don't know. But in looking him up, I found out he was Brad Majors in Shock Treatment.
I don't know what that is.
Brad, hold on. Shock Treatment is the sequel to Rocky Horror, right?
Yep. Basically,
And Brad Majors is Brad of Brad and Janet.
yeah, basically after...
I didn't know there was a sequel.
It's
to
awful.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
the first
basically-
movie isn't great.
Well,
the
no,
first movie is terrible.
the problem is, like... So the first one is what it is, but then it got this huge cult following.
Yeah.
And the guy that had created it, who was also the guy that played the weird, like, hunchback...
Yeah, he was,
Riff Raff?
Riff Raff.
Yeah.
Riff Raff is the best part!
He's the creator.
Ah!
Which is
And
probably
he was
why he
like-
got the good role. Just like...
So he was like, well, this has taken off. Time to try to make lightning strike twice. So he wrote this whole new
Piece of
story
shit.
about Brad and Janet, and it's a whole new original thing, and by all accounts, it's fucking horrible.
It's terrible.
And yeah, this guy was Brad because original Brad was like, I'm good.
Well, but
Oh,
I
Wasn't
mean...
it original Brad Barry Bostwick?
Something like
that
that.
sounds right. But also, like, original Brad was probably not original Brad on Broadway or whatever. Was he?
I mean,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Original movie Brad, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, this thing was written as a...
I think
Oh, so is it actually a movie?
Yeah.
the
I didn't realize...
Rocky
no.
was,
I
Oh.
know that. Yeah, I know that.
Like, what?
No, I didn't realize Shock Treatment was a movie. I thought it was just a show.
No, it was written as a movie explicitly.
Oh, I didn't realize
Yep.
that.
Huh?
I have the soundtrack.
Ooh.
It's awful.
Yeah. But, yeah. Sorry, that's right, because you're talking about awful, and I was looking at my notes. Like,
Yeah.
oh, right. He was second Brad. It's like being other Darren.
Mm.
Oof. I don't know if that's better or worse, honestly. I'd have to really
Worse.
think about it.
I tried to watch a movie this week. I didn't end up finding it. A movie called a 1953 movie called The Naked Spur, which was written by the guy that wrote the teleplay of this episode, Sam Rolfe, because they looked him up specifically when they were like, we want to do something like The Naked Spur. We happen to know the writer of The Naked Spur because he also did a lot of writing on The Man from UNCLE.
Uncle.
Oh, man.
Uncle.
Yeah, man.
You say it in UNCLE or you
Yes.
say
No,
Uncle?
you say Uncle.
Okay, the man from Uncle. They're like, yeah, we know him. Just bring him on and he'll write something for us. So they did. He also wrote The Vengeance Factor, which was hot garbage.
Wait, so they specifically wanted this guy, and they brought him on, and he wrote this?
Yeah.
Wait,
What the fuck, dude?
Which one's the Vengeance Factor again?
That's one with Utah, right?
Oh, that one's okay.
Garbage.
I mean, the contrivance of, like, the computer somehow reconstructing her face was asinine.
And the fact that she was so thirsty for Riker.
Yeah, well, that's always a bad idea.
Yeah. But then he also died later this year. Later, the year that this came out, 93.
Oh.
Later, the year that this came out.
Okay, I was
Which
gonna say,
episode
God.
is this with Hungry for Riker?
The Vengeance Factor?
Which one is that? That's a TNG episode?
It was
Yeah.
a TNG episode with a chick that was thirsty for Riker.
The
But-
alien chick who was thirsty for Riker?
Yeah. And
An
remember,
alien chick.
because she was like,
Baby New Earth or whatever?
No,
No.
that was,
First Contact.
yeah. This is the
That's
one
a
where
great
the
episode.
woman, like,
Well, yeah,
her
that's-
family had been wiped out by this faction, and she underwent some experimental procedure
Yeah.
to keep herself young, and her, like, touch would kill people, and
She was
Yeah.
a hottie.
it wasn't a
Riker,
great.
There
and
was an old
Riker had to
lady.
kill her.
There was
And
another old lady that was like
Yeah.
mediating it.
And they had, like, awkwardly put Patrick Stewart in a weird place so that he ends up just sitting there in the final scene doing nothing
He did,
as
he
everything
did.
implodes around him.
Yeah.
But that's not this episode.
Well, that sounds memorable as fuck.
It was terrible.
It doesn't sound memorable. I don't
This
remember
wasn't a very
anything about
memorable episode either.
Yeah,
It
no,
was
I-
very forgettable. It's not
Quark
like
is cute in it, but Quark is
Yeah.
cute in
Yeah.
everything.
I really like Quark. Quark
Yeah,
and
Quark's
Odo
great.
are really...
this
I
episode
loved
is
when-
largely inoffensive.
Yeah, I loved when
Yeah.
Quark was worried about Odo.
Mm.
It
I
was
did
so
too.
clear. It was like, oh no, I wonder if the Miradorn guy's gonna kill him. That would be sad.
Not, like, sad enough to do anything about it.
No,
like, you know,
but-
message him and warn him or anything.
Well, he was also, I think, more concerned that if the Miradorn find out that I orchestrated the robbery,
Yeah.
which they already strongly suspect,
Yeah.
then I will be fucked as well.
Yep.
Like that was more, I think, Quark's concern.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, Quark loves Odo, but he loves himself more.
Yeah. But yeah, as I was saying, this episode is very, very forgettable.
Yeah,
it's
like,
not
it's not-
bad.
yeah,
It's just not.
Yeah, and we're gonna
hitting
learn.
the right home
And we're
about.
gonna learn more about changelings because it turns out they're not a myth that this guy made up. They're gonna be a thing that we're gonna see more of.
Well, they, like, really couldn't be, right? Like, he had to come from somewhere.
Yeah, and they're trumping up the mystery about his species a lot, which is it leads to expectations that eventually there's going to be some significance to.
It reminds me so much of how they did a lot of the Data backstory stuff and how you felt like you were being teased a lot. It was like, oh, Data's this mysterious robot we just found on a slab one day, but never actually checked the lab where we found him. Yeah. Idiots!
And then the mystery turns out to not be that mysterious. It's like, no, you were built by the guy that you think you were built by, and...
Yeah, and he's kind of a weirdo.
He was often wrong, it turns out.
His solution to everything was build a robot at it.
And then fuck it, possibly.
Yeah. Fuck the robot.
Did he fuck Lore? Is that why Lore is such an asshole?
That's why do you think the butt was left out when they had taken Lore apart?
Oh dear.
That makes me very upset.
Caitlin
we're good.
Have to get out.
All right, this sure has been an episode of a thing.
Fleshlight engineer off and on soon.
Wow, where's the off button? All right, thank you for joining us once again for A Star to Steer Her By. Next week, we're going to do another episode and talk about some more episodes. That was redundant. We're going to talk about battle lines and the storyteller. If you like what you heard and you want to hear more, you can find A Star to Steer Her By where all fine podcasts are sold, including...
Don't look at Jake. Never look at Jake. The trick is to never look at Jake.
Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher... I don't know, where the fuck you found us this time. Oh, and SoundCloud. I almost said SoundCloud because I got a cold. SoundCloud.
You said sound.
SoundCloud. It really is hard to say. I'm starting to feel a little sympathetic for Jake now. And if you want to check us out elsewhere, you can find us on Facebook by searching A Star to Steer Her By, or you can follow us on Tumblr and Twitter at SSHB Podcast. You can also visit sshbpodcast.com, which is our home on the web, but it's just a link to our Tumblr page right now, so whatever. But yeah, definitely check us out. Give us a rating or review. Give us a subscribe. Say hi on Facebook. Nobody else is, so we'll definitely get back to you. No, I mean, we have millions of fans, and if you're lucky, we'll say hi. No, but really, this was a great show.
Oh, don't forget about telling about our 152nd episode Spectacular next week.
Oh yeah, next week is going to be the 152nd episode Spectacular, apparently.
We're going to be covering those 2 episodes you mentioned.
It's going to be
amazing.
Spectacular, all right.
Wow.
All right, so I have been Caitlin.
Me, Jake.
This has been Chris.
This is always Ames. If you want to learn more about grasses of 1,000 colors, hit me up. I can get you some info.
Reach out to Ames. Are you on the Twitter?
No, I don't use my personal account on the Twitter.
Just go through the Facebook page. The only 2 that tend to reply to it are me or her.
That's true.
Right now for cake.
Woo, cake!
Finally, my ice cream cake.